All right. Next up, in local politics, Charlotte City Council member Winston Braxton had a proposal that he brought to the floor in which he proposed to raise the salary of Charlotte City Council members, and it was actually rejected. This was interesting to me because y'all know how I feel about politicians. I think a lot of people, most of us here, feel the same way about politicians, even though, like, we know Winston. Most people in Charlotte know him. We know him from, from the culture here in the city. That actually,
even from Hornets games.
So that actually surprised me. One that he brought the proposal to the floor, and second that it was actually rejected. Right. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
For one, this is a very confusing topic for me, and I say that
the same way.
I say that because the city council, however you read the articles and the headlines, the city council rejected the pay raises of the council members. That doesn't resonate with me as much. But I think what's happening is because of what Winston represents. I think that's the biggest reason for the opposition.
I agree.
Within the city government as well as its residents. And his biggest frustration, he actually has two frustrations. One, he feels like if you're going to represent the city, if you're going to represent the public, you should be able to have the pay that would allow you to do so. Because a lot of those, actually the majority, if not all of those council members, they actually have full-time jobs outside of the city council.
Because including him.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And his other frustration is that they're only allowed to be on the council for 2 years. So your first year as a council member, you're trying to implement your programs, but then you can't because that second year, you now got to go back on the campaign trail. And I think because of the culture that he represents, that's why he's getting so much opposition. And I have my critiques of politicians on all levels, but I do believe and support the notion that they should get a pay increase. And I think if he gets the pay increase he wants, I think he'd be getting like $40,000 a year, which is still below minimum wage, which is still below like whatever they determine you need to like be able to survive. So he's not asking for like a 6-figure income, you know. So it sucks. I've read some of the back and forth conversation as to why they say no, but I'll hold off on that and I'll let you guys go.
I didn't have a problem with it like I thought I originally might have a problem with it. I don't just in Charlotte's economic climate, even we're talking about local government here. I get your money however you see fit, man. And I don't think he was coming across as like some greedy capitalist. Like let's be clear about that. Like this is not some person making $100,000 that now wants $200,000. You get what I'm saying? That to me is why I didn't have a problem with it, especially from someone like him who has been extremely active in the community, who has been who has brought some extremely thought-provoking ideas to the table with Charlotte City Council. I didn't have a problem with it at all, man. And the thing is, the more and more I read stuff like this, I firmly believe the more and more people like this need to be supported, because I can't say it enough, man. I just don't think it comes from a place of greed. Because when I first heard about it, without reading it, whenever I hear people who say more money, the first thought comes on my mind is, okay, are you being greedy or are you really needing this? You know what I mean? And greed is not a part of this narrative.
Yeah, and one of the council members actually commented part of the article that I read, and she said something that when she broke down what it is she's getting paid, she's getting something like $6.84 an hour. So you got a council member getting paid $6.84 an hour, but you got McDonald's workers out protesting for $15.
And one thing I didn't bring up, and before I knew who Braxton was, and I saw him on the council, and I was at a Hornets game, and I was like, that dude that's working the camera looks a lot like the dude on the city council. And I was like, oh crap, that's the same dude. Like, it shouldn't be like that, man. Like, in theory, I you know what I mean? Like, I agree. Why should the city councilman have two jobs?
I think because it's Winston making this proposal, I'm willing to be like, okay, this is no
And I
Yeah.
not to cut you off, but
No.
that was another point I was going to get at as far as who was
Right, yeah.
was
However,
for the raise.
having
Right.
said that, I don't like the idea of politicians determining their own sustainability. That is
Agreed,
that is for
agreed.
us to decide
Yeah, that's a good
because the Charlotte City Council, I think Winston has done a great job in his time, but as a whole, they've been kind of wishy-washy
Right.
on
and
certain issues.
and they don't look like they've been insane.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So it's like no, it's up for me to deserve. If that be like, if I went to my job and was like, all right, guys, I need you guys to vote on me getting paid. Go back to your queue.
Hey, the door's
Yeah,
not there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if politicians are no different. So I think we as a city, we need to find, there has to be a different route to make sure that our city council members have the time and resources to do the things that we want them to do
Agreed.
and the things that they want to do.
Right.
There's a big activist community here in Charlotte. That's one of the things that we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me because I don't have a lot of faith in politicians. I like to give
Agreed.
Winston
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt
Right.
because of who he is.
Right.
I'm hoping he can kind of change that narrative, but I'm always going to be leery.
Yes, yes.
But however, having said that, I do understand that they don't have the time and the resources to be able to make a lot of the changes that we need them to make. So
And it's almost like whoever created these rules, you can only be here for 2 years, or you can, and you're only going to get paid this amount. It's almost like they said, okay, that we're being forced to create a city council. We kind of have to do this.
Right.
So we're going to make one, but we're going to make it so hard for you to
Right.
do your job effectively.
Right.
well, it's designed so that rich capitalists are the only people that could possibly
Yeah.
do these
Right,
jobs,
exactly.
and now
Exactly.
that's changing. We're seeing that all over the country and on every level of government, where we're seeing more grassroots efforts to get regular people into government,
Right.
and they're finding like man, because I'm not a millionaire, I can't do this
Right.
full time. So
And it sucks. It shouldn't even be like that because Trayvon Martin, his mom is now running for city council. A lot of the newer people that are getting into politics, they're getting into politics because they had a family member get killed, or their kid got deported, and now they or some extreme reason why. And I just think it sucks that the public we're having to deviate away from what we want to do
Right.
because we were touched by the system, so to speak, and the system isn't helping out. And the only way for it to get better is if we actually.
But that's what you do. I tell people
So-
all the time, you cannot change a system by continuing to invest in that same
Yeah.
system. You have to do something different, and what that is you gotta get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you gotta start tearing it down.
yeah, props
So,
to those
yeah.
people who were activists or that went through tragedy and said, you know what, I've got to change this from the inside,
Right.
and they're trying to do it. So
No doubt.
it is up to us as citizens to try and help them
and
achieve
definitely
their goals.
shout outs to them. I'm not denigrating the work. It just sucks that.
Oh,
it
yeah,
takes
no,
that-
absolutely, yeah.
it takes that tragedy for what I'm saying.
Yep.